Hi everyone. Um, I promised to get back on the small video that I made a few days ago about the tremendous upgrade that we have been going through a couple of days ago. I felt it about 3 days on a row, upgrading, upgrading, upgrading. Um, if you are not at a point in your life where you have frequent moments of feeling severely uncomfortable, facing your deepest fears, then you should scratch behind your head whether you are living at the moment, whether you are taking responsibility for your soul's journey or whether you're just existing. Because this inner energy is really bringing us to our core fears, to our core identifications that keep us away from flowing, that keep us away from source. What comes to mind with me is something I heard a while back Ram Dass saying in one of his videos that I watched. And he said, and he's so true, it's better to become Christ than to visit him. And haven't we all tried to visit him instead of becoming Christ? I'm saying him, but it's just source. It's just so indoctrinated that source should be male. Just don't want to even have a discussion about it. I'm just talking about source. I'm talking about Christ consciousness. I'm talking about God, whatever you wanna call it. But we have humankind has just revisited and revisited and revisited Christ over and over and over again by sex, orgasms, by food, by getting a kick out of I don't know, your job, your status, the money that you have, the clothes that you wear. Those are all very small moments that we get close to what is perceived as oneness, but it never stays longer than a few minutes, sometimes a few hours. Those are all attempts to flee away from the suffering of our separateness. And most people keep on doing that the rest of their lives. Or there are a smaller amount of people that has already acknowledged that coming back to source means having to face what is separating us, what is standing in between the ego and the source. Yeah, the ego is standing in between, but you know what I mean. And we're peeling it, we're scratching the bottom of our bellies at the moment. We're talking about mother wounds, we're talking about child trauma, we're talking about parental identifications, we're talking about so many things that could stand still in the way of us really landing in our own body, really owning every inch of our body. Because that is the only way of truly flowing with source. It's the only way of truly Yeah, literally embodying source, and that's what that is the work that a lot of you guys, including myself, are doing right now. It's embodying source, literally embodying source into the body. And what the darker spots inside our body are being put to the light, and we can choose to flee away by visiting Christ, or we can choose to engage with the dark corners in our body, choose to stay present with the dark corners in our body, so we can alchemize into Christ. I'm proud of everybody, I must say that, because, oh man, it has been a hell of a ride the past few years. It's a humble path. It's humbling. It's so humbling. It's bringing us to our most naked beingness. Personality has no right to exist in these high frequencies anymore. And I must say, I find it also very confronting and very painful to see what is happening right now on a global scale. There are a lot of people who are getting sick, who are dying. I talked about it also in the last video. The wars that are going on, and this is waking up. Waking up is not this rosy, angelic kind of happening. It There are moments where we can experience unbelievable bliss and being in unconditional love, but it's a hell lot of work that we need to go through. There are moments we're really feeling like, hell, I'm not gonna make it out of this one, you know. The pain is so deep, or the anxiety seems so big, that we think, okay, this bump, I'm gonna just I'm not gonna make it, this one. And every time we do, every time we're going deep, we're feeling that anxiousness of dying, because that is what is happening. We have to let go of such a strong, profound conditionings that have been active in our body, but already in humankind's DNA for thousands of years. So when we shine light on it and we alchemize this, it just feels like, okay, this was my last minute on earth. Yeah. It's a vulnerable phase, what we are in right now. And it's beautiful if you can show that vulnerability, not only behind the walls and only with yourself. It's okay if that's the only thing that you are ready for at the moment. But how beautiful would it be if that vulnerability is a power? It's such a power. I keep on talking about is this vulnerability is such a power for healing and for mirroring other people, because every single one of us is walking around with these same kind of traumas. People who are saying and really acting like they are in this bliss and everything is rosy and angelic, don't trust those people. Don't trust those people. They are not going down to their core. They're not embodying source into our body, into their bodies. And so it's so important to listen to your gut feeling, to listen and feel what resonates with you, because you feel what people resonate, what people tell true things. And I'm not talking about the truth in matters of dualistic truths. I'm talking about the only truth, and that's source. Source is the only truth. And you can feel it in your gut when truth is active, when source is active, or when there is some manipulative pattern going on that talks about things, that displays a certain kind of being, and you just feel like you it's off. Your stomach turns, you get tense. It just doesn't resonate. Trust that feeling. Everybody has to face their shadows right now. And embracing the fear is one of the biggest ones at the moment. Because what is the opposite of fear? It's love. There are still a lot of fears standing in our way to embrace source. And lately I hear a lot of people talking about that the body needs to adjust to these frequencies. It's not at all like that. The body doesn't need to adjust to these frequencies. The body exists for 70% out of water. So I think the body is perfectly well equipped to adjust to these frequencies in quite a rapid pace. But what is making the body resist to these higher frequencies is corners in our body that are still not filled up with source. That's a completely different way at looking at it. It's not the body. It's we think we are at a certain level of awakenedness, or whatever you call it. But our body is telling us, my body is telling me, where I still am holding on to some beliefs or some kind of patterns. My body is telling me it's not the body that has problems with adjusting to this frequency. It's the mind that doesn't want to let go of its illusions. And if you look at it at this way, you take responsibility for your own ascension, for ascending. I'm not saying that we have control over ascension, because we simply do not. We do not know how life is going to unfold for us. We do not know what experiences we need in order to let source completely reside in our body. Sometimes that can be mental problems, that can be financial problems, it can be health problems, it can be any kind of thing that we need to face in order to ascend. So there is no wrong and there is no right. And people who say they don't have any ascension symptoms doesn't mean they are further along in their awakening. It's so important right now at the moment to not compare yourself with what you see is going on around you, because you are this unique human being with your unique codes and your unique upbringing, conditionings, trauma, character, persona, whatever you like to call it. No one else has that same kind of character build as you or me, because nobody has led the same life as you or me. So the only thing you can do to really, really start understanding what is holding you back from source is to inquire, is to go within. And of course, we need people around us that mirror things to us, because when we start feeling anxious, or when we start feeling friction, or becoming angry or whatever in a company, or in a company of people, or in a situation, it's still inner inquiry. It's nothing to do with what's going on outside there. It's always me. It's always you. But this is really the time to cut the bullshit. There are so many ways we can still tell ourselves all kinds of illusions and lies to stay in a comfort zone. And this is really not a time to be in one. This is not the time to be in a comfort zone. This is a time where it's getting dirty, it's getting chaotic, it's life. Life is chaotic, it's dirty, it's messy. And years ago, I was very much a heady person, and you really looking from my head upon the world and on all the people, observing everybody getting dirty and messy, and I would really sit there like, I was really good at that, standing at the sideline, looking as if I were looking at a movie, like, oh my God, look at them, look, because I was too damn scared to really embody life myself, to really stand with both feet in the midst of it, instead of standing on a sideline, thinking everything about other people living their life. I'm not at that place anymore, I can tell you that. I am going on this roller coaster. The last days have been so intense, in a good way, in ways that I really feel moments of bliss, of inner peace. And then a few moments later, there comes this anxiousness again. There comes this fear, rushes of fear again, that needs my attention, that need inquiry. And I'm not doing that only on my own, sitting here. The way of the yogi or the monk is not the way to go anymore. Be amongst people. Show them what you're going through. And let other people show you what they are going through. That's where the healing lies. Not in rescuing each other, not in helping each other, but in just seeing each other in their struggle, in the beautiful path of awakening that we are going through. Being present with another's struggle, being present with your struggle, just being present. And then I came to the conclusion that there is not a lot really essential things changing on the outside, and that's what I mean. Of course, there is a lot of people have to let go of another way of living, another way of being. But we have that feeling. We're now in a phase of that we live the same life as we did months ago, but we experience it in such a different and profound way. And it's everything to do with inquiry. It's everything to do with raising our consciousness. It's nothing to do with I drink every morning the same tea, and I pet my cats every morning, and I see certain people every week, and I clean my house. But in my experience of it is completely turned 180 degrees. The awareness that's in it, the presence that is in it, just makes it such a different experience. It's so full. And I have less and less the urge to stay in the words of Ram Dass to visit Christ. In terms of grabbing on to people, needing people close to me, needing I don't know what. Because I feel I'm getting more equipped in flowing with all the energies that are going on right now, and trusting. Because as the song said, it's only love that's doing the next thing, babe. And I feel that so profoundly lately. So I have more relaxation in the process that I'm going through. Even when there is a lot of anxiety, even when the body aches or whatever on a 3D plane is happening, I have more relaxation and I have more trust in things. So I hope you guys are having moments of feeling severely uncomfortable, experiencing anxiousness and fear and sadness and love and peace and the whole shebang, because that is really the beautiful messy chaos of life, of being alive, of being a human being. And that's where the healing lies. Much love.